Welcome to another edition of As Crow Flies Hiking. Tonight I wanted to highlight the Pinhoti Outdoor Center. You can see behind me. It is a great place to stay on the Pinhoti Trail. A little bit of video of Nimblewill, who is with us tonight on the Alabama Triple Crown of backpacking, and just take a look at this place and what it offers for the Pinhoti Trail. Oh really? You went out there?
Yeah. It's a blend, isn't it?
Yeah, there's like apparently tornadoes that touch down in multiple places in Alabama.
Nimble, you want to say anything? You want to talk about? I mean, I know, right? Just anything you want to talk about. Pinhoti, Bama Baxter, and then I got a couple of things if you want.
We can just bounce it off of this.
Yeah.
I'm not into material things, but I'll tell you what, I just fell in love with this damn stick. Pass that around. The trail goes through Dalton, through a residential area right down on the sidewalk. There's a fellow lives on that street. I just got to be good friends with Tom Lavardi. And I got a hold of Tom and I said, Tom, it looks like I'm going to end my hike out in the middle of nowhere, pretty much on a little dirt road. I'd really like to end my hike somewhere else. How about your house? And he said, yeah. So a fellow by the name of Graybeard was a record holder, being the oldest person to have thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail. Graybeard encouraged me. We've become dear friends. I'll be spending the weekend with him over in Chattanooga at the film festival. He drove 2 solid days. He lives in a little suburb north of Memphis, and he drove 2 solid days to get up to Dalton. He was standing, I'm an old man, so I get emotional. He was standing on the steps at Tom Lavardi's. I turned from the sidewalk, walk up to Tom Lavardi's porch, and I took my last step to complete my 3rd Appalachian Trail thru hike. He was standing there. He handed me this stick as a symbol of transferring from him to me, being the oldest thru hiker ever on the Appalachian Trail. I've had some emotional times in my life because I'm an old man, and some I might remember quite well, and this one I'm never ever. The hike this year, I can understand why. I didn't want to let Graybeard just go and fade into the sunset because I'd taken his record away, and he was such a kind and gentle and gracious man to me. I said, let's do this, Graybeard. I said, what do you think about starting a new club? I said, well, I'd like to start a new club, and I'd like to talk to you about that. Maybe we can do something with it. We're going to call it the Appalachian Trail Thru-Hikers Octogenarian Club. and right now, it just turns out that there's only 2 people that can join. So we have this new club, and I'll be spending the day tomorrow with Graybeard, having a great time. He's got beat up pretty bad the last few years. He held the record on source to sea. Those of you who do kayaking or canoeing know what source to sea is. That's from the mouth of the Mississippi River at the outfall of Lake Tasca, and from there to the mouth of the Mississippi. He had that record at age 80 a couple of years ago, and he lost that. A guy took that away from him. So he's going back on the Mississippi again this year, and he's going to get that record back.
He'll be 86.
86.
And he'll do that fine. I said, well, what about the AT? You going back on the AT, Graybeard? He said,
So your record's safe?
well, Billy Goat was interested in going out and taking a whack at it. He had a really kind of a bad first day. But he's okay. We spent the weekend with Billy Goat down at Billy Goat Day in Florida to celebrate his 83rd birthday, and he's going to be all right. So I don't know. I'm hoping. Graybeard encouraged me. I encouraged Billy Goat. We need to get some more members in this octogenarian club, one way or the other. I tell my friends I'm a little slow. Being an old man, I'm just going to go with that. I'm a little slow. I was into the hike, this hike about 2 months, maybe 60, 70 days into it. And I was having a particularly tough, very difficult day. 3 days, I had a 3-day running streak. I was on the trail 262 days. I had a 3-day running streak, the longest time that I hadn't fallen. So I fell almost every day, some days multiple times. The last 500 miles of this hike, the last 50 days. And then on the other end, about 2 months into it, I had a very difficult day. I fell down quite a few times. It was raining, nasty cold. I banged up my elbows and knees again and again. And I had a revelation. I ran this thing. I stopped and I think, Nimblewill, by golly, you know what? There's a reason why 80-year-olds ain't doing this. I've been off the trail now a couple of months, a little over 2 months. My energy level is not really what it should be. Maybe it's just never going to come back. My attitude can use some boosting and some help, but I think another month or so. It's called post-hike depression, but I'm not depressed. I don't know how do you describe it, or how you come up with a term to fit into what's happening to the old. Any of you who've done long trails, and most of you have experienced in what I'm talking about, and I'm in the throes of that now, hopefully another week or 2 or 3. I'm greeting people. I'm up on Flag Mountain. Flag Mountain is the southernmost mountain in the Appalachian Mountain Range. Pass these around, Bill. I don't know if there's enough there.
Thank you, sir.
You notice what it says on the bottom of that. I'm caretaking Flag Mountain. Been there going on 4 years now, and Flag Mountain is the southernmost mountain to stand above 1,000 feet in the Appalachian Mountain Range. So it's arbitrary, but we've designated, and symbolically, we call Flag Mountain the southernmost mountain in the Appalachian Mountains. The beginning of the Appalachians, we have a trail that begins on Flag Mountain. It's the beginning of the Pinhoti Trail there also. So you got the mountain start, and you got the trail start, and people come to greet me, and I get to talk with them, and so I'm getting boosted, and I'm getting my energy back, and I think I'm going to be all right. Well, this was my third through hike of the Pinhoti Trail. I hiked it in '98, mostly a bushwhack for a good part of it. I hiked it again in 2000. The southernmost extent of the Pinhoti when I hiked it 23 years ago was Porter Gap, that's as far as out. So everything from there to Flag, over Rebecca and all that, none of that was there. It was all bushwhack and roadwalk. This time I had an opportunity to actually walk instead of pushing my pack ahead of me through the laurel paths that had ribbons tied on them where the trail was going to go.
Yeah.
But primarily I did this hike to have a fresh awareness, because I'm telling everybody how great the Pinhoti Trail is, so why the hell don't you go out there, old man, and hike it and find out if that's true. So I hiked it this year, primarily to bring recognition and awareness to the southern Appalachians. Flag Mountain is southern Appalachians. Springer Mountain is not southern Appalachians. That paid off really well. We were able to talk to hikers all along. The reason I got to talk to all the hikers on the trail this year is because they were passing me. And most of them slow down long enough for me to tell them about a place called Flag Mountain, the Pinhoti Trail in the southern Appalachians. And there's a hell of a bunch of them who got a good dose of what is commonly called now and familiar pretty much to everyone. And you'll get a little bit of it tonight maybe. It's called Nomad's Poison. All the great happy people that were blowing north from Springer Mountain, I reminded them and told them and explained to them, you have not hiked the Appalachians anywhere near the Appalachians. You've done a little chunk in the middle when you get done with your hike. You're going to have to come down to Flag Mountain and start with a mountain start. This Bama to Baxter thing, couple leaving in the morning, heading.
Yeah, there's a couple staying there tonight. There's 2 starting up tomorrow, Bama to Baxter.
They're celebrating.
I think there's 5 guys on the trail right now, the last 2
And that's
weeks.
what they're doing
Yeah,
for their
It's like this
50th.
thing, this term, Bama to Baxter, is like it's something been around forever. And I bounced it off of Nathan here months and months ago. Bama to Baxter, how's that sound? He said, oh man, let's go with that. So we just ran with the Bama to Baxter thing. So we got the word out about a wonderful trail. We got the word out about a place that you all need to come and see if you haven't. The old fire tower there, or it was supposed to be an observation tower, is probably the finest remaining example of the civilian conservation forest stonework. And you've all seen the beautiful, it's just magnificent. That's where everything began. So I invite you to come spend some time with us on Flag Mountain. I assure you and guarantee you, you'll be very much welcome, and we'll be glad to have you.
Thanks everybody for watching this episode of As a Crow Flies Hiking, Pinhoti Outdoor Center and the Pinhoti Trail. Wonderful place.